Righty, guys. Let me kick this video off with saying I do think we are going to get a big fat crypto run. 100%. That is what my bias is, man. I'm heavily favoring a big run, but I don't think we're going to get it until this happens. Now, what I want to show you guys very quickly is why I'm not going to be trading this range anymore until we get these levels hit. All right. So what we saw on Ethereum the other night was a one, two, three, four, five waves to the downside. Very clear impulsive downside moves. Now, when you see something like this, the implication is that the market is likely to get continuation to the downside. What you should see typically is an A, B, C back up into the top of the fourth wave, and then you should see a big fat sell-off. All right. You should see continuation of that wave. Now, what we got instead was one, two, three, four, five waves down. Okay, perfect. And then this giant rip-roaring candle out of nowhere that invalidated this bearish structure and then proceeded to sell off after they invalidated the structure. Now, this to me tells me that this market is just trying to drum up liquidity. You're very likely going to get chopped to pieces trading through this range, right? Because they are putting in setups, invalidating them, and then running them in the direction they're supposed to go. All right, have no intention of having my money in a market that's doing that. Now, I will be staying out of crypto until this happens. So some of you may have seen me do this before, but bear with me. It's a really good lesson. So looking at BTC, this is what happens when we've seen every other BTC bottom. I'm going to show you where BTC bottoms. All right. What we get is this. We get a push up out of the hole and the market comes back. So you're running our fibs from the start to the end of the move. And the market trades back into a fair value gap inside of discount. All right. Now, if I take that same, so if I take the leg from the bottom of the previous leg to the new high, market trades into a fair value gap inside of discount, right? Underneath this 50 line. You can see it's tapping underneath the 50 over and over again. Now, if I take that same low and I extend it here, you can see, okay, well, the market didn't make it back into the 50 here. But if I keep pushing my fibs up, right, and I keep extending these, where do we bottom? Fair value gap inside of discount, all right? Over and over and over again, when crypto bottoms, it does it at the 50. I'll show you again. Look, take that same from the previous leg to the previous high. Where did we bottom? We bottom fair value gap underneath the 50. Now take that same leg that we've seen here, and I push it up again. Have we tapped into the 50? No. Have we tapped into the 50? Now, what I want to show you, right, is what we're looking for is a pullback to tap onto the 50. So we need to see from the highs. So if you have a look, this leg has tapped into the 50, but that's not where we're trading from, right? We traded up here. So we need to see these guys pull back into the 50. And they haven't, man. They haven't pulled back into the 50. They haven't pulled back into discount. Now we are getting very close though. If we look on the daily and the weekly, the fair value gap inside of the 50 is all the way down here, right? We're looking at like 92K, which is what I've said for a long time is my high probability target for a bottom. Now, the thing is, though, is that on the monthly, we do have a fair value gap inside of the 50 at 98K. Okay. We've got a fair value gap sitting here at 98,000. Now, this market is unlikely to bottom until we get to 98K at the very minimum. Now, let me show you the same thing on Ethereum. Right, the market doesn't just bottom from the middle of nowhere. What it does is it pushes up and trades back into fair value gaps. You have a look at this every time. Push up, trade back into a fair value gap. Push up, trade back into a fair value gap. Push up, back into a fair value gap. It's not going to be any different this time, man. If we're going to see this big run, blah, we should see it from 98K or lower. Okay. Ethereum, same deal, man. If we take this whole leg up on the weekly, from the bottom to the top of this range, we need to trade back into a fair value gap. You can see they haven't taken 50% of this fair value gap. They haven't traded back into discount. So if this market is likely to bottom, it's likely going to bottom from 3,200 or less. All right. We need to be looking for discounts, for fair value gaps inside of discount. So if you have a look, the first level I'd be watching, man, if we look on the daily here, 3,200. 3,200 would be the first level I'd be looking at on Ethereum for them to see a bottom here. Now, another thing that's making me positive that 80%, 90% certain that we are going to see this run. Now, When the market has fast position money being positioned, right, what it does is it produces fair value gaps. So if we look on the weekly, we can see they're producing big fair value gaps up here, right? If you want to determine a bias in the market, you need to look at the speed in which money is being positioned because big, strong institutional money will be positioned with speed, and you can't hide them pouring all of that money in the market very quickly. So if we have a look, which side of the market is moving faster between these two legs? We've got 1, 2, 3 weeks it took for us to trade from here to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks for us to trade to the downside. We can see which side of the market had the faster moving money. Right now, I know it's painful, man. It's, like I said, 3 months you've been sitting up here. Uh, I do think we are going to get a run, man. Right? Because this has just been a very, very slow, drawn out move. So I think it's just time to sit tight, dude. Instead of trying to catch bottoms over and over and over again, just wait for them to trade back into the fair value gap inside a discount like they have every single other time. Every time, man, trading into discount. All right, look, discount, discount, discount. Right? Every single time they're tapping into these 50s, man, they haven't done that yet. All you need to do, run your fibs from bottom to the top of this weekly leg of money. Anywhere under the 50 is where you can look to buy. This is just a choppy mess. Any questions, guys? I will be around. Got some more educational videos coming very soon. A little bit of downtime on the production there, but yeah, I should hopefully be pumping one of them a day out very, very soon. Take care.